Welcome to Life, Laughter, Divorce, episode 65. I am your host, Leanne Linsky.
And I'm the boyfriend.
Welcome back to another wonderful week of divorce. We are so happy to be here.
They keep coming one after another.
They just don't stop. Divorce just keeps happening, whether we like it or not.
I was thinking more of the weeks keep happening.
Oh, well, that too. And therefore, you get more episodes of our podcast.
And you love it. We love it. We love putting them together for you.
Yes. We're so... The one thing we can commit to, our podcast. And you guys, because we love you guys. So here we are, ready. It's another episode in the sick week of episodes.
Yeah, the boyfriend's still not feeling 100%.
He is not. We have tissue, we have NyQuil, we have Mucinex, we have all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love a CVS or a Rite Aid.
Yeah. So we need some get well wishes and thoughts for the boyfriend so we can eventually invite a guest back over to record. We don't want to get anyone sick, you know. We're not those people who like show up to work sick so that we can share it with the rest of you.
You work from home.
Oh, well, like I said, I don't show up to work sick, so I get everybody else sick. See? Aren't I thoughtful?
Uh-huh.
Hey, while you're out there tuning in, make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe. And if you're somewhere safe and you can access the interwebs, then be sure you check out our website at lifelaughterdivorce.com because we have a lot of great stuff on our online store, like divorce, aromatherapy, soaps, and candles.
I should use some candles right now. Put them all over my desk, make it smell better for me. I probably couldn't smell it, but
maybe it would open up something. Nasal passageways.
So what do we have today?
Hey, you know what? I bet that the eucalyptus would help. That opens up all your sinus issues. Look at that. We're just gonna cure.
Well, we're not doing.
Maybe a bath would help. I don't know. Take a shower. Good God.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the boyfriend does not shower.
He showers once in a while when I make them. So the boyfriend and I happen to be at CVS, not at the trip that he picked up all of his medical goods for his cold, but at an earlier trip a while back, we had picked up this special edition of Time magazine called The Science of Marriage. It's all about attraction, what keeps love strong, and making the union last. And we honed in on that. We were like, oh, we gotta put that in our cart. Get it? So we got around to reading it, and there's actually some interesting articles in here. Like last night, I was reading the one on sleeping. Just throwing that out there, boyfriend.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
Yeah, trying to tell him about this article. Hey, it's very important. There are some interesting facts in that article, but this whole issue is all about the science of marriage, and there's various articles to getting married to staying married. And there was one article in here in particular by Samantha B. and Jason Jones.
Great comedians, great people.
Yeah. So we read this particular article and we wanted to share some of these thoughts with you because the article is entitled 10 Ways to Make Your Marriage Divorce Proof. So, of course,
you can make your marriage divorce proof?
That's what Samantha B. and Jason Jones are writing. Like it says what they have learned after 16 years of being married. So we're just going to pretend they're our guests this week.
Sure.
Via an article that in a magazine we purchased at CVS. So we're just going to put their picture right here in front of us when we do this.
Well, if Samantha B. and Jason Jones ever wanted to be on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. You guys. Yes. Tweet at them, Twitter at them. Let them know that we need to talk to them about their divorce-proof marriage. That's what we want to.
That's impressive because what was 16 years
and
they're in the business. So not a lot of people last that long in.
No.
Especially in that field. So this is interesting. What do they got for us?
All right. So they have 10 points that help divorce proof your marriage. So the first point is number 1. Realize that if you can agree on what constitutes a clean room, you can agree on anything.
All right, let's break that down.
Break it down, boyfriend.
So, what constitutes a clean room?
Mm-hmm.
So that's their comedic way of saying that we could live together in harmony without fighting about my habits versus your habits.
Yes. So of course they write it much funnier than we're probably going to share it with you right now. But basically, let's say one of you is really super OCD clean and the other person not so much, right?
Yeah.
Like I think her thing was giving an example about vacuuming, and which
well, let's put it to you. How about you? How was your marriages? Were you OCD clean versus them, or vice versa?
Yes, I'm always the cleaner one in the couple.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think it comes to.
Did that cause problems?
No, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't what caused problems in those marriages. That was the least of our worries.
Has that gotten you in any other relationships? Has it been an issue?
No, actually, it really hasn't. I mean, I think that's come up more in a roommate situation, and really, I think when I was with my husband and we were living together, obviously, it just kind of came out like we always said, like, what's your thing? Like, sometimes people like doing dishes. Some people are like, I hate doing dishes. Other people are like, I like doing laundry. So you kind of like trade off. Like, I like those things. I don't like these things. And the other person's like, okay, I'll do those things. And you kind of like divide and conquer.
That's sort of how we done it too.
Yeah.
I cook a lot and do some dishes.
Right.
We share dishes.
Yeah.
But I cook a lot. We share dishes. You do the laundry.
Yeah.
And that works out really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
we don't even live together.
No. And my place is probably a little messy right now because of the sickness, but I try to keep it decent. Yeah. It's not like a frat boy's room, but
no. Your place is very functional. And I say functional because I'd like to come in here and decorate sometime.
No.
No, I'm kidding. No, but I think you know what? There is one. Yeah, it has been an issue in a relationship where people are, yes, I take that back. Now I'm thinking about it. That has come up. I think it just, if someone doesn't care about the cleanliness, it can be an issue, especially if they don't respect your boundaries, like what really sets you off. That is a problem. That can be a problem when they're like, what's the big deal? Why don't you stop worrying? Why don't you not do that? Why don't you like,
but that's what it is. It gets to underlying issues.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to if they don't respect that that's how you are and you find a happy medium, that's probably going to be a problem for other things too.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get to that. Like, no, because I'm thinking marriages, those were fine. But there was a relationship where someone, that was nuts. That was nuts. And it was almost deliberate. Like, I know this is going to irritate her if I leave this out. And then you purposely leave that out.
Wow.
Like, why would you do that to somebody? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like
just messing with you.
It seems like a little thing, but if you do it on the little things, you're probably going to do it on the big things, which is exactly what that is, pushing your buttons. You don't want to be a button pusher. You want to be a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Wow, I got serious on that one.
So what's the next one?
All right, the next one. If you're irritated by your partner, imagine him as a small child, which sounds kind of creepy.
Or funny.
Or funny. But yeah, imagine him as a small child doing those same things and being busy. Because I think if you imagine someone as a kid, you're like, "Aw, how cute." Have you ever done that?
No. But I've never lived with a significant other. I've never been to that point in a relationship. Yeah. If I'm mad at them, I'm mad at them. Yeah,
right.
Just walk away.
Well, I think their point was like, if you imagine them as a small child, it kind of changes your perspective and be like, oh, they've kind of always been that way type thing, But it does, it softens it. Because when you think like, okay, I'm angry at you for, let's say, leaving your bag out and your shoes and, your stuff when you come in. And then when you think of that person as a small child doing that stuff, it kind of changes perspective and how you speak to them about it. Like, instead of being like, hey, dumbass.
But it sounds like, again, just like the first one, you're sort of displacing the issue that's at hand right now.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, there's something underlying here about your behavior. It's a behavior thing versus leaving something out. So if I look at you as a small child, then I don't question that behavior as much. And it's like you said, I think it softens it. So therefore you can get past it and discuss it together in a reasonable tone.
Yeah, it changes. Yes, exactly. It changes the tone.
Yeah.
So it also changes the picture, but don't get weird with it.
There's lots of places I can go with that because little kids, but I'm not.
No, too much of that in our world today. Number 3, no fisticuffs in public. Oh yeah.
Have you ever fought with your husband or husbands or other relationships?
I'm sure you've had that awkward moment at some point, but I don't.
Yeah, everyone's had a awkward moment at like a Target or a Walmart or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably been moments. I can't think of any one in particular. But yeah, it is awkward. Like whether you're in that situation or it's somebody else around you where it's like, we've been around friends who have fought, and it's really, we're just kind of looking at each other like, okay, just let's do something else. Let's look at this book in front of us.
Yeah.
It's awkward. It's hard because you don't want to take sides with them.
Yeah, but that's for everybody else. Why if they're fighting?
Why do you want to fight in public?
Yeah.
I guess sometimes you find yourself suddenly in that situation, depends on what happens. Like it could be something tragic. I don't know, but I can't imagine. But yeah, sometimes people just, if you don't like each other, don't leave your house.
Well, that's what I think it's really getting at. If you can't fight, if you can't have an argument in a adult way, and make sure you do it in a caring way because you're with somebody that you love, then if you're going to fight like this and you can't control that argument,
right,
then why are you with that person?
Well, it's like, I think about it at work. I would never want to belittle a team member or something like that in front of other people. If I had an issue with someone, I would want to do it in private.
Yeah.
And
it's respect for the other person. It's
respect for the other person. And I would do the same thing in a relationship. It's out of respect for the other person. We do that one-on-one. The same with if you have a problem with your partner, go to your partner about it. Don't tell everybody else about it.
Yeah. And I think that takes maturity.
Yeah.
And experience, because people who are younger typically just start talking to everybody about it.
Right.
Not everybody, not all young people.
Well, they just talk to Facebook about it.
Well, yeah, that's where they are now. When we were
right, we actually talk to real human beings. Yes. But yeah, out of respect, give the opportunity the person. Give the person the opportunity to, and the respect to have that conversation in private.
Yep.
Yeah. That's because once you're in public, man. That's nasty. And then people probably aren't going to invite you around anymore. All right. Number 4. Marry someone with a backbone who appreciates that you possess one of your own. Yes.
Yeah. You need someone who's going to challenge you, someone who's going to force you to think a little differently. Because that's the way you work together. That's the way you build a bond and grow together.
Right. And it's
you can't just date a pushover.
No, you can't have somebody who doesn't have their own opinions and own thoughts and you don't have to agree on everything.
No, the discussions of disagreement are just as fun. They don't have to be arguments, but you could discuss your disagreements.
Right. Have you ever dated somebody who has no backbone?
Yeah, they typically don't last very long.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's not fun.
I get bored.
Because they don't challenge you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Have fun and go.
That's true. It's kind of like having that, person, just someone who just follows you around and not have their own thing. No independence.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Well, what would you like to do? And it's like, no, I actually want to know your opinion. I want to know who you are. I want to know what's going on
Kind of
inside
like
your head.
when we go out to dinner and you're like, where would you like to go? And I'll be like, here's my top 3 picks. And then you're like, well, how about, and you pick something completely different.
See? Spine.
I'm like, why did you ask?
Just being nice.
Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, someone with a spine. I think that's attractive. I also think that shows confidence, which confidence is sexy. We've talked about that before.
Go ahead. What's next?
Procrastinate. They're actually suggesting that you procrastinate.
I'm good at that.
I think we're all really good at that. But it's kind of like, you know what? Don't worry about, cleaning out your closet right now. Don't worry about doing that stuff. Sometimes it's good to just take a break and enjoy life and time together. Like,
it's togetherness. So
Yeah.
if I've got a lot of things to do, you got a lot of things to do. F it. Let's just take a couple hours and let's go do something together
yeah.
and put it all on hold.
And sometimes we just have to do that because otherwise we get so wrapped up in I got to get this done. I got to get that done. Sometimes our list of things to do is just never ending. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So don't laugh at me. It just is. But yeah, I think we just have to, you and I have found especially that we just have to take a break and be like, okay, today we are going to go do something.
But
different.
unfortunately, we go 7 days a week.
Yeah.
There's, so our lives are a little different.
Well, no, not necessarily because our lives are 7 days a week, but we don't have kids. And then there's other people who have the Monday through Friday thing, but then they have to run around and go to soccer games and volleyball and this and that and dance and all that stuff all weekend. And they don't have time for themselves either.
That's true.
And each night when they get home, they also have to put kids to bed and get homework done.
That's true.
But sometimes you just
I thought kids were supposed to be awesome and the greatest joy of your life. And when you spend time with them, that's great. So therefore, when they do all these things on the weekend at night, that's awesome for them, right?
For them, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I guess according to Samantha B and Jason Jones, you just have to be like, hey, we're not doing that right now. We got to take a break and take some time out.
Okay.
Well, that's like, some people have date night. So some couples I know that have kids and everything, they have a dedicated date night once a week. They don't ever give it up. It's a non-negotiable evening. Like they have a date night. They never let anything else come in front of their time together.
That's awesome.
And I think that's super important.
Yeah.
Like I look at that and I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of respect for that because if you don't make the time doesn't make itself.
Wow. Wise words.
Is it true though? I don't know. I think time just is. And then there's other people who are like, time doesn't exist.
All right, what's next?
All right. Number 7, accept that everyone needs some alone time.
Yes. Everyone needs their own space.
They do. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the example that they give in here. It's like if he spends 45 minutes in the bathroom, he's not going to the bathroom that entire time. He's just trying to get away from you. Which is true. We all need to get away sometimes.
Yeah, you need your own time to sort of center yourself because if you're not good, then the relationship's not good. You got to be good with yourself before you can be good in the relationship.
Yeah. So what do you do for your alone time?
I typically work. I read a lot.
No, that's not an alone time. That's work.
I know.
Like if you aren't working and I'm not around, what do you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when that occurs.
That never happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. It's I like to do things for me. So I'll work on some of my fun projects.
More work. That sounds fun, you guys.
They'll work for her, fun projects for me. I need to get on my bike more, so I like riding my bike when I can. That's good alone time because that's also
right.
Multiple things at one time, exercise, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I have alone time when I go down and see my friends. There's an hour drive for me to go see some of my friends. So that's a good alone time in the car. Just thinking, putting things in order in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Organizing that brain of yours.
How about you? What do you do?
What do I do?
You crafty things?
Yeah.
She's crafty.
I scrapbook. No, I don't. I do. I like to, I love to read. I like to read. And I used, when I lived in New York, I read all the time. Once I moved to the West Coast, like it's like I don't even know what reading is in comparison. So yeah, I love to read. I like to go for walks. And that's not something I do all the time, but I think about walking. I like to think about walking. I love to go lay on the beach.
The beach is right here. You should.
I know.
Yeah.
I love to go sit on the beach.
Okay.
I love to, and that's not something I do often enough, but that would be my alone time. I'd much prefer
But
the
you
beach.
did in the summer. I know you went out there a lot last summer. So
I much prefer the beach over the bathroom. So like if I want my 45 minutes, I'd rather spend it there than.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice.
I'm just saying, that's just how I am. So yeah. So get some alone time and accept that they need some alone time. So number 8, we're getting near the end here. If you have to fight, walk and fight. But don't do it around your friends. But they're saying walk and fight because the energy keeps things moving forward.
Do they literally mean walk and fight? Or are they trying to say like do multiple things because then it's not all about the fight?
Yeah. Well, they said, in their particular example, they're cooped up inside a lot. And they go, sometimes that's what makes it like they're in tight quarters or, they're not out and about doing things. And so getting outside, like go outside and talk things out while you're doing something. Sometimes being in the fresh air helps. Sometimes changing up your environment.
The environment. Yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
And I can see that. And especially for people who live in colder climates or something like I mean, growing up in the Midwest, you and I know what it's like, during the
6
winter.
months of the year, you don't go outside.
And you get crabby and people's attitudes really get toxic. And if you're cooped up all winter and you can't do things that you like to do, especially if you're an outdoor person, then that might be a problem. Maybe you do need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to go do something different and have that conversation, So,
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good one. All of these are pretty good. Like, it makes sense a lot. I mean, it's like.
Well, what we're curious is after going through this list, how many of these do you guys think are important to try to keep how many of these would you try to enact to keep your relationship together? Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, did everybody implement these in their marriages that they no longer have? Like, how did that, like, what is your experience? Like, what did you find? Do any of these applicable?
Yeah.
And then, like, for instance, number 9 here, let your spouse in on 90% of your day-to-day routine. So
let them in that much?
Yeah, they said let them in. Well, that talks about that whole episode when we talked about little things. It's like going to the grocery store together and doing your routine things together. Now, they say 90% because 10% of those things are like, we don't need to know, like, what you do in that other 10% of the time for like taking self-care and grooming and things. Like, I don't need to see that. Like, and that's exactly what they said. Leave some mystery there, but like 90% of your routine, like running errands and doing stuff, you can do those together.
We actually do, except you hate going to the grocery store. So
that parking lot scares me. It's worse than driving on the 405. Like, that parking lot is 8 cars backing out into the same small area at the same, like, oh my gosh, my heart. It's just, I feel like I go to the grocery store and I come back aged 10 years.
She does. She's stress on her face. It's just terrible.
But when I love going to the grocery store at 7 a.m. when they open.
Because there's no one there in those cars.
Yeah, there's like, I can park, I can walk, I can get in, I can get out. But something happens in like the witching hour of daytime when everybody else in their entire family is there. And it's like, it's almost as like everybody in the grocery store. I'm sorry, I got to go off on this for a minute. But everybody in the grocery store has never been there before. And they're on a sightseeing expedition. It's like, you get this shit every week. Put it in your cart and move on. Like, what are you doing? What are you looking for? Ask somebody, find it for you. Like,
and that's why we don't grocery shop together.
And sometimes I still do. Sometimes I go with you because I know you really want my company.
That's what it is. Yes.
So imagine what that experience is like. But I like going early when they open and nobody's there except the people who.
But back to the article.
Yeah.
It's doing things together.
Yeah.
So doing everything from the spectacular to the mundane, and that builds bonds between people.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's important. It's like I'd rather. Yeah, we. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat.
She's just going to go off on the grocery store again.
I'm all fired up about Trader Joe's. Now that I let you know what grocery store it is, everybody's like, yeah, I completely understand. All right. Number 10, when you buy gifts for each other, give them at least a full minute of thought. Right? Yeah. We do give very thoughtful gifts, but have you ever gotten a really bad gift from somebody?
Have I received?
Yeah.
You always receive bad gifts, and there's times where you don't put enough effort into getting a gift. You don't want to. So yeah, you want to make sure that that's meaningful and special to that person. And my thought is that if you're going to get them a gift, don't get them something that's a task. So the article says any appliances. You don't get someone an appliance because that's just going to make them work more.
Yeah, but my brother bought his wife a lawnmower, and they've been together like 30 years.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that.
No. What do you mean? You're not going to buy me a lawnmower? Well, that would make no sense because we don't have a yard. But,
right.
So, but
I'll buy you a washer and a dryer.
But my family is very big into buying appliances for each other and tools.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we're big practical, like, well, you're gonna need these jumper cables for your car, so Merry Christmas. That's very practical. That's how,
Yeah.
we've always done. And yeah, you want these hedge clippers? I'm gonna get you those for Mother's Day. Like that's the kind of thing. But I have to say, growing up and getting those things, it's like good because I needed that and I really didn't want to go to Home Depot.
Well, that makes sense at that point in your life. But between someone special that you have, you want to get them something that's a little more meaningful, a little more thoughtful.
Right.
You don't, again, you don't want to give them something that's going to make them work more.
Right. Right. This is true. Or sometimes you get somebody something that you think they should want, but they don't want. Like, when you get somebody like, I think you should.
Then that's just not being thoughtful.
Exactly. So yeah, finding out like if you're really into guitars, for instance, like maybe a gift certificate to the guitar shop. That's a little impersonal. What do you think of gift certificates?
If it's like you just said, because it's something that's related directly to something that they're passionate about, okay. But a generic Amazon or Best Buy or whatever gift certificate, those are terrible.
That's another thing that they say in this article. Samantha B and Jason Jones are like, don't just have something from Amazon shipped from somebody.
That's not very thoughtful at all.
Yeah.
So put a little effort into it. I think that's all they're trying to say. I'm starting to lose my voice now, people. I'm sorry about that.
I think he's planned that well. No. So. Well, those are the 10 steps to divorce-proof your marriage by Samantha B. and Jason Jones. So thanks, you guys, for that great article. And we kind of want to know from all of you guys out there, like, do you think that these are the things that would have divorce-proofed your marriage besides, getting rid of the other woman or whatever those things are? But, like, it starts with the little things, and the little things grow into the big things. So do you think that if these things had started off differently in your relationship, would that have changed anything? Because we really want to know. We really
their marriage is continuing on past 16 years. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how many of you guys have implemented these thoughts into your marriage to see if it worked.
Right. Or if there's anything missing. I think one thing that I would put is that you have to maintain a sense of humor.
Well, I think that's a given for those two.
Well, yeah, like there's no question you have two comics talking, but just to point out that obvious piece because not everybody else read the article and saw their funny comments and stuff. But I think there has to be a level of maintaining your sense of humor, especially in bad times, and being okay.
Yeah, you can't take life too seriously.
No.
That's-
Well, I mean, even in arguments and stuff, like
But
I
again, you can't take it too seriously.
You have to keep it in perspective
Yeah.
and kind of, hey, let's get through this. Let's keep it real. And remember, if you can't find your sense of humor, picture him as a small child. So I hope you guys are feeling good out there this week. I hope you have a great week. Boyfriend should be feeling better soon. We're going to get him some more Kleenex, some more NyQuil, get him back in bed to recoup. And then we're going to see you next week and get ready for a new series where we're back with some guests. We'll talk to you soon.